Hi, this is Dr. Bryn Gillow, and you are watching IFCO-TV.
How's that?
Oh, we're live already.
Oh my gosh! Here we are, like,
Yes.
shifting.
IFCO Women TV, right?
Yeah.
All right. I think this is a first. All women on the IFCO TV stage, right?
Oh my goodness.
It took over 100 episodes for us to get here,
Wow.
just women, but we have to say, this is Dr. Frank Hahn's brainchild, so we really can't blame him for being on every single episode. No, not every single one, but what Frank has done with this is absolutely amazing. Over 100 episodes of IFCO TV, that's for people to watch on YouTube later on, and it's just fantastic, this idea, and it's only been around for a year and a half.
It's amazing.
So let's have fun with some women in chiropractic. Here, look, they're all taking pictures of us. That's not pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, and here comes Liam with a selfie. Surprise,
Selfie.
surprise. And Rocco too. Okay. Sorry, guys, we have to smile first. All righty. So,
We're famous.
yes. So please make sure you chat with us. IFCOchiro.org/live. We would love to hear what you have to say. Say hi to us. We'll try to answer any questions that you have. And as we were preparing for this little session here, we found out something very cool, didn't we,
We did.
Dr. Patti?
We did. So, I've been in practice 31 years. Bryn has been in practice for 14 years. And
I'll be graduating in 2 years, so I'm still a student. So.
We're kind of right a perfect time span every
Right.
15, 16 years here.
right.
So, what we wanted to talk about first was how chiropractic has changed for women in the last 31 years. So, Patti, you're going to be the expert on that topic. What's
Wow.
different today for women that are graduating from Sherman, from Life, from Barcelona, from any of the fantastic schools? What's different now versus when you graduated? How was it like? What was it like for you?
Well, I was 10 years old when I graduated, and 31 years later, seriously, I feel like I'm 30 years old right now. What was it like? Back then, for me, when I decided to go to chiropractic school, I asked my chiropractor, are there any women chiropractors? I didn't know that a woman could actually go to chiropractic school, be a chiropractor. Does that sound a little strange to you?
It does now.
Now it is so strange, and I thought that I was part of the feminist movement back in the 70s, and
You were for chiropractic.
I was.
Yeah.
So my chiropractor actually connected me with a woman chiropractor. There were not many women chiropractors out there. So going through school, all of my mentors were men, and wonderful, amazing men that we all look up to, Siggy and Sid Williams and Joe Felicia, Guy Reekman, and Tom Gilardi. So now, what I understand is there are, 50%?
That's about what it is now in our classrooms. It's about 50%
Great.
female.
50%.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That blows my mind, because in my class we were 220 and there were 20 women.
Wow.
I'll look
our
back
class.
at the graduating classes, the pictures they have all over the school, and it's mainly men. So
I remember
it's-
the first class of Sherman graduating. We have that picture hanging in the hallway, and I believe in the first class there was one woman
That sounds about
Right?
right.
Wow.
in that class back at the time when Arnaud Bernier graduated. On those pictures, I remember there was maybe one woman, not in every picture.
Right.
So, and my son, who is now 7 years old, a few years ago we talked about, what does he want to be? And he says, I want to be a chiropractor. Yay, that makes any mom happy, right? But then he looked at me very seriously and said, but I have to become a woman first. And I was like, and why is that? Why? Oh, because there's only women chiropractors. You have to be a woman to be a chiropractor.
Wow.
Because he, obviously knew me. He knew my associate, which she was female, and Dr. Sharon Gorman, who I used to work for. So,
Right.
you know, and he knew Nayland Marcus. So he only knew women chiropractors. That's all that stood out for him. So he was convinced he would have to become a woman before he can be a chiropractor.
Isn't that
so things
amazing?
have changed for
Yeah,
sure.
From me thinking that there were no women chiropractors, and your son,
Yes.
only women chiropractors.
I would say my mentors were still more male than female. How about for you now, Kristi? Do you feel?
I think for me, it's pretty much 50-50. My boyfriend and I both are in school together. So he's got his male mentors, and I've been meeting more and more female mentors. So it's mixed. I try to reach out to both just to get different perspectives on how people run offices and how couples that practice together function in that atmosphere as well, because I'll be in that position.
Well,
one day,
you have
too.
the absolute expert
I know.
for that.
How
right
lucky
here
could I be
next
to be
you.
here right now? It's amazing.
Yes.
And my husband making faces over
Yeah.
here on the side. He has to be part of everything,
Of course.
That's okay.
but he just left.
Well, when I graduated, that was back in 2000, I wanted to work for a woman. I wanted to be an associate first for a little while because my plan was to go back to Germany. I just never did. I wanted to work for a woman for a little while, just to, you know, to get my feet wet in the business, but also to learn from a woman, you know, how it is to interact with people, because men do interact different. They, you know, they interact different with other men, and they interact different with women as we do. So, you know, I did an associateship for a woman, Dr. Sharon Gorman, for 5 years, and it just turned out so perfectly that I was able to buy her office. But that was huge for me, you know. So I think it's fantastic how far we've come in chiropractic, that there's so much more opportunity for us to find that.
Absolutely. And so I remember back 31 years ago, I'm from Jersey originally, so I'm now in Boston, a transplant, and I opened my own practice on Newbury Street in downtown Boston. And I remember other women chiropractors who'd been practicing, and as well as men chiropractors coming to me and saying, how do you do it? You're a woman. Don't men give you a hard time? Do men really want to see you? And I never thought about that. That wasn't in my consciousness. I had women coming up to me saying, I don't even want to accept men in my practice because I'm just nervous about the whole sexual thing and all. I had never ever even thought about that. And I don't know if it's, you know, Jersey girl? I don't know what that is.
But that's what made you successful, that you didn't let that fear penetrate your consciousness to change what you were doing.
There you go. Yeah.
You know, and you don't even have to have that fear right now anymore.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't hear that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't hear that these days. And that is one thing that you bring up. I had no fear when I came out of school. I knew how to adjust, and I had worked at it, and I continued to work at it even when I graduated from school, and I made sure that I went to as many technique seminars as I could. I went to as many chiropractic, philosophically focused seminars I could, the triune seminars way back when, the Renaissance seminars back then. I just wanted to fill myself, and it's a great thing to do. Just keep filling yourself with information that is going to allow you to really embody chiropractic, embody the philosophy, not to just recite the principles and know the philosophy, but to actually live it in your life and in your practice. And for me, when you know you really are embodying it is when you have children and you're teaching your children those same principles and you're living congruent to those principles. And it's been a wonderful road, a wonderful life, and not that it's been totally perfect. So there are things that the universe will bring to you so that you can they test you, and then you can grow from that. And every step of the way, I've always been able to call somebody. And of course, my husband is one of my greatest mentors. And to be able to have him to, you know, in case I'm feeling a little weak at a certain time, to talk to Peter and build up my confidence, to call my friends, to call Kim Stetzel, Sharon Gorman, Sean Powers, whoever it may be, and say, please help me. Naylin Marcus. We've just...
And, you actually took my question and
okay.
answered it already, which is perfect, because I was going to ask you, what would you say how to become successful as a student? How do you become this successful chiropractor? But to go from there, I wanted to ask you, Kristi, because you are number one in a unique position because you're at Sherman College right now.
Amazing.
Amazing time. Tell us about that first. How is it to be at Sherman during
these
the most perfect
amazing times? It's actually kind of an interesting story because I transferred to Sherman from another school, and I was a little over a year into the program before I decided to make the move. I was just unhappy where I was in general, but we actually came to Sherman College because of Dr. Cordero becoming president. And he had been president for about a year and a half when we made the move. My boyfriend and I both moved together. We transferred together. And being at Sherman, I knew from the moment walking on campus that I was in the right place. And I had no doubt in my mind that I was moving there. And it's a small town, and there's not much to do, but it is perfect for me and for Rocco. We both love it there.
Chiropractic, that's what's there to do.
It is real
right?
chiropractic. It is none of the other stuff that you can get distracted with. It's pure, and you have mentors at school there to talk to you. All of the teachers are amazing. I will say that a lot of the people that we've met at Sherman have become mentors of ours, and they've encouraged us to come to seminars like this. And we actually went to Mile High Chiro weekend in Colorado a few weeks ago. So just getting to meet other doctors and doing that, I can tell already it's made a huge difference in my personal life as well.
That's great.
I've grown so much, and I know that it's because of being a student at Sherman and changing that part of my life, and I've already grown from doing that. So it's an amazing place to be.
Those connections will be with you and your boyfriend for the rest of your careers. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
This is going to be your network that you always have to fall back on and to call for advice and to call your colleagues.
Right.
We were talking earlier already how I love that about the IFCO, about Sherman, about chiropractic, how we are, it never feels like, oh, they're the students, we're the doctors. No, it always feels like we're already all one group, all working on one goal to bring chiropractic to the world, vertebral subluxation correction for every man, woman, and child. That's what we're about, and we're all working towards that same goal, aren't we?
We are.
Absolutely.
So since we're pulling on the same string, we're on the same team, and it's not that differentiation. Student, doctor, teacher, we're all one.
I will say that at Sherman, I've never had this feeling anywhere else either. You will sit and have lunch with your teachers. I mean, they are the most down-to-earth people that you've ever met. I mean, anyone at these seminars is exactly the same way as well.
Yeah.
So you feel loved from everyone. You feel like you're on an equal playing field with them. Even though you're not a chiropractor yet, they already view you as someone that's already in the field, and they respect you, a colleague. So it's a great feeling.
And we do respect students like you and Rocco because of how much effort you're putting into not just your studies, but already to promote chiropractic. You guys are very involved in the student IFCO at Sherman, right?
We are, yes.
And you guys organized this trip here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
We did. It was actually, it was a little more work last quarter than it was this quarter. We kind of just been rolling with it this quarter. We've been able to get, I think we have about 30 students is what we were able to bring, but we loaded up 15 passenger vans.
That's great.
We got all of it organized, the hotel rooms, everything. We have our team on the IFCO, I guess our club at school. There's 4 of us that really have been working to arrange all of this stuff. And we've been able to get a really good turnout. A lot of first quarter people have come, so it's amazing getting their feet wet with all of this real chiropractic
you
information.
will influence their chiropractic careers by the effort that you guys are putting forth.
It's a really good feeling because we love serving other people. That's another reason why we want to be in this profession is it's all about service to us. And we are learning everything that they're learning too. Just getting everybody exposed to the stuff that we know has helped us grow so much is really important to us.
Yeah.
So.
You take that extra step of helping the others, and that's
We
That's
are trying.
fantastic.
Sherman's an amazing place, and the students are what make it. So
Yeah.
we believe it's
But
important
to
give
organize
back.
30 students, 30 plus students to show up to an event like this, to all get at the same time in the same car that they're supposed to be
Yeah,
in.
we actually most of us showed up. I'll say that it was a good time and a smooth trip.
Oh yeah. Why did you transfer to Sherman because of Dr. Cordero? What was it about him?
We actually met him at Dynamic Essentials. That was the first place that I had never heard of Sherman College even, and I was in chiropractic school because it's just a small school and it's only 2 hours from where I was. And what happened was we saw the Sherman student body. They had a pretty good turnout the time that we were at DE and we saw them. And they were so excited about being in school. We were like, we couldn't believe it because we were so bogged down just in life and distractions and everything where we were. So my first reaction was seeing how excited the students were that he was president. So that was what kind of got my gears turning, wondering who this guy was, So after that, it just seemed like the universe fell into place. It was like God was leading us to Sherman without us even planning it. So we met chiropractors that would recommend Sherman College, or we met a graduate from Sherman College, and it was just a repetitive reminder that it existed and that it was a really good place to be. So Dr. Cordero has done so much for the school already. He's constantly on the road spreading the word about chiropractic and about Sherman College and trying to grow a profession with the right kind of people and just spreading the truth about what this profession really is and not what it seems to be going towards. So he's reminding everyone of the purity of the profession, and we love that. And that's what makes us happy, is being able to know that we're in the right place because of that.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell he really cares about the students.
Yes, he does. We've actually, when we first met him at Sherman, we sat down for 30 minutes talking to him. He's so real and so down to earth, and he's an amazing guy. So
that's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll find that as you go through the rest of your life, you'll see everything happens for a reason.
It does.
And all the effort and energy that you're putting in to gathering people to come here to IFCO is really going to be, it's sort of a training ground for you.
Right.
Because when you get into practice, that's what it's all about. It's developing relationships and connecting with people, and then bringing people together.
Right.
Peter and I have a chiropractic philosophy group that we started back in the early 80s, 1982, with a group of chiropractors in Massachusetts, and it's evolved over time, and we are still meeting the second Saturday of every month for like almost 30 years. And it's pretty amazing. And the people that have been part of our group for all those years are like our family to us. And some of them, we don't see them for a while and then they drift back in, but they're still, it's like not seeing your sister for a while, and then when you see her, it's like, it was just like you didn't, it's like you saw her yesterday.
Right.
So you'll develop connections, and you want to develop that, because when you get out, the world is very different out there from your chiropractic world. You're in a nice, wonderful, safe environment at school, and then you get out there, and it's great that you have a partner. I had Peter to practice with, and I love practicing with someone else. And then you're going to develop support groups. You need to, in order to stay strong, to stay committed, to stay connected. People to bounce things off of.
Right.
So
Can't you just already picture it, Patti, in
Absolutely.
33 years from now? That's when you'll be in practice for 31 years,
Yeah.
right? In 33 years from now, you're going to pull out that little YouTube clip, because it's going to be totally outdated at that point, right?
And I'll be 60.
That's right.
Because I'm only 31 now.
Yes.
Wait, no, I'm 41 now, so I'll be 71.
That's all right. But you look like you're 51. Because
But I
you
will.
get
I'll look like I'm 51.
Because the two of you might as well just have your own group and create that same energy.
It's really exciting to think about the future like that we could do things like that you guys have done. It's amazing. So.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have a partner who's a chiropractor. I dated a chiropractor through chiropractic school, but after that, I'm married to a non-chiropractor, and he's fantastic, and he's
He
very
is.
supportive. I couldn't ask for a better husband and, father for my kids and all this. But I love having an associate. I had women associates, now I have a male associate, and that works great too in the office. I get to be a mom first, when my kids need me, I get to be there. But if I can also totally focus on the office.
So that's a good point to talk about. Women practicing.
Yes.
What I've seen in my last 31 years is that a woman can create the practice of her dreams.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can make your own hours. If you're having babies, your friends will come and they will adjust your people for you.
I've had nannies, and they would bring my newborn to me so I could nurse in between adjusting people. We always had a very free, open flow in the office, so I couldn't know at what time who's going to show up. But even in that kind of a setting, it totally works. They understand, hey, she needs 5 minutes to feed her baby.
Right, absolutely.
And because of this family atmosphere that we as women can create in an office, people never have a problem with that.
Right.
And if they do, they wouldn't be part of my office.
Well, there you go.
They would go to somebody else that resonates more with them.
There you go.
But, we have such a thriving family office. And I think, people feel very comfortable with a woman chiropractor, especially when it comes to their children.
Right.
Or pregnant women. It's kind of nice to work with another woman.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're in a fantastic position.
We
And
are.
I do see we have a couple of people who were saying hi to us. So we have to make a little shout out to Judy Campanelli.
Hi,
We miss
Judy.
her terribly here.
Aw.
Very upset she can't be here. Also, Naylan Marcus was saying hi.
Naylan.
And I believe also Pam. I'm thinking
Pam's
that's
our
Pam
host?
who's saying hi. Yes.
Tammy. Mwah.
All powerhouse chiropractic women. There's so many of us out there.
Absolutely. Great.
Yeah.
What
so
else? What else
what
can we talk
else? It's going to come to that point at some point.
How is it practicing, you being a chiropractor and your husband a non-chiropractor? Because I know
It's
I've heard
great.
of a lot of couples that do that, and I know
Yeah.
maybe for some people that might be difficult, but for some it's a great
See,
situation.
As I was a student, I thought I would have to marry a chiropractor to be happy, because I wanted to be with somebody who is just as passionate about what they do as I am. And obviously only chiropractors are really passionate about what they do, right? Because nobody else has a reason to be this passionate.
We think so.
No, and it's, I really thought I'm going to have to find a chiropractor. I'm going to have to find a chiropractor. And the guy I was dating in chiropractic school, it really helped me a lot because, he went to seminars, so I went to those seminars, and I went to others, so he came to those. So we kind of pushed each other forward in school, which was great. But outside of school now, it is actually really fun. Hi, Peter. You managed to distract us.
Peter wants to be acknowledged, everyone, that he's making faces at us. And,
So the nice thing about a non-chiropractic husband is that he's not behind the camera making faces.
Hi, ladies.
But we still love you,
Here we
Peter.
Hello.
That's one of the most shown clips on IFCO-TV.
I love it.
With both of us.
Okay, let's do it again.
Okay.
Mwah.
I like that. Wait, can we do it on this side too? I'm a happy guy.
Frank uses that clip all the time. Makes the guys feel important.
There you
No,
go,
but
Frank.
outside of school now, it's actually, I have to say, very nice not to be married to a chiropractor. Because when I want to, he's very much open for me to tell him about what's going on and, what I'm thinking about. Because he's, an intelligent man. He's totally understanding what's, and I love explaining it to him. He's all on board with everything that we do. But I also love that I can disconnect from it at times.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is great. And guess what? He's just as passionate about his career as we're about ours. As a designer, a landscape outdoor space designer, he is just as much in love with what he does as I'm with chiropractic.
Right.
So it's actually also a very wonderful thing not to be married to a chiropractor.
That's great.
Yes.
Perfect.
I couldn't ask for anything better.
Perfect.
And
for
he
you.
fixes stuff in my office when stuff breaks.
That's a great combination.
And I have gotten awards twice now for the most beautiful landscaping
There
around
you
the
go.
office, you know?
Nice.
Yes.
And then there are those of us who are married to chiropractors
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, have a partnership with chiropractor. And what I have found is that you have to establish very early on, if you're going to practice together, establish, okay, who's in charge of what in the office, because the staff wants to know who the buck stops with. And in our office, only because Peter would probably cry and suck his thumb if I didn't let him. The buck stops with Peter. So what I mean by that is that one person in the office,
Keep talking.
whether you're especially if you're married to the person, you want to be able to establish who does what, who's gonna clean the kitchen, who's gonna do the bathrooms in the office. So Peter and I established who was in charge of what, and I have my division. I'm in charge of new patients and first and second visits, and I adjust. Peter adjusts. And when we first started, we split it, and then we realized that I was much better.
Naturally.
No, he would
naturally.
say that too. I am a connector, and I connect with people, and so we found our dance. And I encourage you, if you have a partner who's a chiropractor, find your dance. Find it. Just make sure the parameters and the boundaries are really clear, because that can lead to a lot of issues. Yeah. Sure, you do it even with your husband, who's a non-chiropractor, back at home.
Absolutely.
You know, who does what.
Yes,
and
yes.
so I encourage all the women out there
Yeah.
who are thinking about practicing with their spouse, really clearly define who does what and who the buck stops with, and
And then
so
be
the
open
staff
and
is
flexible
clear.
for change if things,
Absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm sure for the staff that's important too, to know who to approach with
Yeah.
what issue.
Right.
Yeah, you know.
So now that it's, you know, we're talking about communication, we have to let other people communicate again.
Okay.
Dr. Frank Hahn is very excited to bring on our next guest from Mexico. So it's going to be another woman on the show, so you do not have to, you know, turn off yet. Stay on. And but the three of us, we're going to disappear right now. And Dr. Frank will be back with you guys in just a second.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.